they don't want.
Indeed, this life is no balance. Life no balance at all. Once more, good evening, everyone. Wherever you're watching me, you are speaking to Mazes. Okay, here you're watching me live and direct, and welcome to Njenje Media TV. If this is your first time of seeing my face, if this is your first time of coming onto Njenje Media TV, may I use the opportunity to say you do me a favor? Just click the like button. You're watching me on Facebook, just make that like button turn blue. Are you watching me on YouTube? Subscribe to the channel. Ensure you turn on your notifications so that whenever I come online, you will be notified that I am online. So, once more, good evening, everyone. This evening, just quick, straight to the point. I would want to know where you are watching me from. That would be a privilege to know, as usual, know where we are all watching Mazes okay from. Normally, this is a mini continent. Many people watch me from various continents and various countries of the world. So I hope you can hear me loud and clear, as I do have a very good. I think I changed my sound system. I changed my the setup. You know, what's it called? Amplif. Don't worry, mixers, whatever. So everyone, good evening, good evening, good evening, good morning. Oh, you're watching me from Ibuku, the great kingdom of Igbo. Nkuku. Many of us don't know that our ancestors were so good that the people of Ibuku worked with iron ore before even the white man knew what iron was eventually. Before the, what's it called again? My God, I'm getting old, people. Before the Industrial Revolution, that's what I was looking for. The great people of Ibuku had always worked with iron. So, Chooks Bond, welcome. I see Izom watching me from Toronto, Canada. Wow. Bonjour. I see David Chief watching me from France. And I see Chima Mbono watching me from Florida. I like Florida. I like Florida. Sometimes when I come to work in Florida, there are areas I will go there and say, Mazi, be careful there because crocs, as they call them, crocodiles. The Germans say crocodile. So crocs can come, behind you and give you a kiss. Wisdom on, thank you very much for joining me. Good evening. Let's share this stream. All you can do for me is share, share, share. So, everyone, let's quickly start. You know, it's again, let's, for many of you who may not know, or rather, maybe you already are aware, the young man that was kidnapped yesterday by the terrorists. The Nigerian government, for some reason, the media has been reporting and everyone has been referring to them as bandits. Even today, they've been referred to unknown gunmen. Rather than us to come back to our senses and begin to call them, address them by their real name because they are nothing but terrorists. These are a bunch of ragtag terrorists. That's what they are. And that's what my view is. Deji watching from Amsterdam. Thank you very much. So the Defense Academy, sadly, the clarity here is that, we lost three people. One, Okonkwo from Anambra State, and the guy that they kidnapped eventually died. Is a Christian from Plateau State, and the third guy also from the south. You know, and to tell for anyone to think for 1 minute that this is not a planned terror attack, I think that person will be daydreaming. However, looking at that, one will think, what exactly is happening? Let's quickly listen to Charles Onyagolu on this conversation.
Nigeria's top military academy has been attacked by unknown gunmen, with 2 officers killed and 1 abducted. It's being reported that the officer who's been abducted has since been found dead. The assailants broke into the residential area of the Nigerian Defense Academy in Kaduna State early this morning. Reports suggest that many people have been injured and are receiving treatment at the academy's hospital. However,
Now we're talking about we're only talking about the guy that was kidnapped, those that were killed, that were killed on the spot. There were others actually that still sustained injury, and the worst part of these, you know, invasion is that they actually went in their homes. Now, someone was supposed to be manning the CCTV. What happened? Was that person who was manning the CCTV compromised? Was it part of the plan? We don't know. Again, when Nigerians begin to doubt anything, for some reason, I do not believe that the person who is manning the CCTV will eventually, maybe punished in the way you and I may want that individual punished. Because why? It's very simple. That to me, it seems these things are things that are planned.
the
Let's
Academy's
have a listen.
spokesperson, Major Bashir Jajira, says the majority of the military community and cadets are safe. He claims that despite this security breach, the gunmen will soon be apprehended. The attack
Akoko.
comes as Nigeria battles a growing insecurity crisis that is devastating many parts of the northwest of the country. With more on this, I'm joined by the security and defense analyst, Dr. Kabiru Adamu, who is also CEO of Beacon Consulting, a security firm. Thank you very much indeed, Dr. Adamu, for joining us. So yet another brazen attack at the very heart of Nigeria's military establishment. Just bring us up to date with what you know about this incident. We're hearing that the major who was kidnapped is now dead. We're also hearing that the people who kidnapped him are demanding 200 million naira.
Exactly, Charles. That's what I have heard too. So at this stage, it's a bit unclear. I mean, if it turns out that he's been killed, then the likelihood of who the perpetrator is, it could be one that was motivated by the need to exact vengeance, and that would explain probably the speed with which the victim was killed. The other possibility is that perhaps he attempted to escape, or even fought, and then they killed him. But then I think so far it's been very unclear who the perpetrator is. We were told that they were dressed in military fatigue. That is how they were able to gain access into the academy. We're also
Let me
told
let
that
me let me
the
interrupt this man a little bit and play us this video. This is exactly, we've done this collage ourselves, but this is exactly the video, the photos that we got. So this is how they broke into the windows. So you see, this house has protectors. But again, these protectors meant nothing, because these protectors, I think they were fixed from inside. They were just basically pushed inside. Watching the pictures, and I began asking myself, obviously this is part of the parameter fence. I started asking myself, is there actually any need anymore to even put protectors in the house? Because if, as we can see from these photo collage, that how easy it might be to actually invade someone. And I'm thinking, I've said this to people since yesterday in private. I think it is now come to a level where every single House of Assembly, every single governor, anyone who is politically exposed got to be afraid of, especially within the North, especially within the Northeast and the Northwest. Reason is very simple. If within the Northwest, where we have the military, and we have a very big entity like the Nigerian Defense Academy, and they were able to come in and do that which they've done here. And I'm thinking, if someone has the infantry to break into the Nigeria Defense Academy with all the ammunitions, with all the, with the finest of all our armory stockpiled in there, the vehicles, anything you can think of, helicopters, whatever, they're all in there, and someone got in there. Now imagine, is it someone from the assembly, or maybe someone with two police orderlies, or maximum 5 police orderlies, or So if something like this, as we jokingly sometimes say, if something like this, if it does, if something like this does, so much harm to the Alhaji, what would that same thing do to the Amajiri? You can imagine that. With all the things, with all the elite training, with all the security, with all the CCTVs, yet they were able to break into in this way. What would then happen if it were you and I, or those probably above us, who, by virtue of their exposure to politics, we are in a big mess. A big, big mess. Now, we must continue with this analysis, but please, if you're just joining us, I can only say that 5 people liked this stream. Just do me a favor, do us a favor, and kindly just click on the bell icon, just like this stream and share this stream. YouTube is suppressing a lot of this, but if you can help us by sharing it, and sharing it, also remember and do not forget to like the stream. Having said that, let's quickly continue with what this guy is analyzing
They
here.
fought their way, frankly, into that particular part of the academy. And then after the attack, they were able to escape, even though there are conflicting reports that suggested there was an attempt by the security agencies to arrest them or kill them. But then somehow they were able to leave the academy with the person that appears to be either dead now or still a captive in their hands. So it's so far, unfortunately, not very clear. However, like you indicated in your opening remarks, this is one of the most respected military institutions in the country. It trains, military officers. It is at a location that is quite protected in terms of its strategic location within Kaduna town, even though there was an incident earlier this year when the students of Federal School of Agriculture, AFACA, were abducted. And even at then, a lot of people wondered when it would be that that particular academy would be attacked. And unfortunately, today is that day. So quite brazen and quite disconcerting, unfortunately.
Well, I mean, given what you've just told us, Kabiru, how embarrassing is this for the Nigerian authorities? I mean, taking place as it has inside a key military facility.
Quite embarrassing, and the reaction that has followed the incident would definitely show how embarrassing it is for the Nigerian government. The entire social media space, conventional media space, are discussing this issue. I've had the opportunity to make calls and speak with some residents in Kaduna, both those on the street and even some high-ranking personalities within Kaduna. And everybody is expressing his concern at the brazen nature of the attack and the fact that the attackers escaped with their lives. So it's not just that they were able to attack the academy, it's the fact that the attack was not successful and that they were able to, abduct one of the, officers in the academy. So people are very concerned. But one of the things that I've tried to indicate to a lot of people I've spoken to is that Kaduna has an elevated threat in profile. I mean, we know this. And so this particular incident, as far as we are concerned, does not significantly change that elevated profile, security profile that Kaduna has.
Anyway, so in his argument here, obviously, you can make up your mind as to whatever you think about him. The fundamental issue here. I will eventually share a video from channels, but obviously, because I have only 1 hour here, I'm not going to go in a deeper detail. But I'll give us a snippet of what Professor Kunle Olawumi, what he said on Channels TV today, that the federal government of Nigeria actually knows those behind all these atrocities. And you think, at some point I thought, was I actually listening to what this man is saying, or am I daydreaming? And this is happening in a republic called Federal Republic of Nigeria. Now, let's go back. Let's go now to Ruben Abati's team in their morning program, where this following discussion happened, as the reporter who was in Kaduna spoke from Kaduna. Let's have a
look. An update on the situation at the Nigerian Defense Academy. Nisi Gabriel, thank you for staying with us. Oh yes, Nisi Gabriel, it's good to have you back. So if you may just continue with the report you were giving us earlier, before we had that short break.
Yes, taking up from where the question Rufai asked. Well, the report we got was that our security operative manning the Nigeria Defense Academy were caught off guard, as I said earlier, and the officer in charge of the CCTV was allegedly asleep when this invasion happened, and this gave room for this bandit.
Did you hear that? That the officer that is in charge of the CCTV was allegedly, how convenient? How convenient did he fall asleep at the time the CCTV and its job is needed most? How convenient.
To invade the residential area of the Nigeria Defense Academy, killing 2 officers and kidnapping 1 other officer who we hear now is allegedly dead.
Well, but I mean, in incidents of this nature, we always hear stories about the absence of perimeter fencing, facilitating the access of the terrorists to the schools that they usually attack. Is that the same problem here at the Nigerian Defense Academy? Because, okay, I saw on screen what looked like a perimeter fencing, but was that perimeter fencing compromised at any particular point, allowing them to...
But before they even get to the perimeter fencing, I mean, in the video, which is the photo collage that we did and which I showed at the beginning, you could clearly see there that the fence, the net fence was not there. Well, obviously, we did not show the whole entire thing, but there is a specific reason why that area, which people thought was compromised, that's where the issue came from. But it doesn't matter. The whole area, the elite Nigerian Defense Academy should, and my understanding is that it was CCTV wired everywhere. So question remains, how come? How did this happen?
Gain access.
Exactly. In fact, when I went to the Nigeria Defense Academy, the permanent site yesterday, that was my focus. Going around the facility, going around the perimeter fence that I saw there, searching and trying to see for myself if there was any compromise or any breach of that facility. But I didn't see any. So it boils down to the fact that this security breach, thorough investigation needs to be carried out. A thorough investigation needs to be conducted to see, to know how the Nigeria Defense Academy, the premier citadel of learning for Nigeria's armed forces, the security of that citadel will be compromised or breached. So there's so much question that needs to be answered by our security operatives.
They got the uniforms, because connivance cannot be ruled out. How did they get in? How did they know their way around? Do we have any other information about those people who are supposed to be operating the CCTV or monitoring the CCTV and were caught napping on duty?
Well, to answer your question specifically, the rumors we get or the feelers we are getting, these are unconfirmed reports, yes, but the feelers we are getting is that the Nigerian army, the hierarchy of the Nigerian army, are going to take stringent actions against those officers. We often hear that some of those officers will be court-martialed, but we'll wait and see how this event unfolds to see if disciplinary measures will be taken upon these officers.
So when the terrorists got into the NDA yesterday, was it targeted at these set officers, or were they sporadic shootings, or were these officers caught in the crossfire? I mean, what's the layout like? I'm sure you got in there yesterday. And why was it specifically these officers that were killed?
Well, the way this operation was carried out, and from the look of things and from all the reports we have, putting everything together, it shows that these bandits might have sneaked into the Nigeria Defense Academy, because we did not hear reports of sporadic gunshots, sporadic shooting anywhere. So it just shows that these bandits might have, one way or the other, found their way into the residential area of the Nigeria Defense Academy, where these officers were caught off guard.
So they specifically went to the residential area just for these officers in the academy, right?
Exactly. They specifically went to the residential area of the academy, and these officers was kidnapped, and 2 officers lost their life in the process, and 1 sustained injury, sadly.
All right, thank you so much, Lisa. Really appreciate you for that.
So at the end of the day, you can see, as they have reported here, obviously that reaffirms what we already know now, and that is at one point. At the other point is, in the midst of all this thing happening, and you still see that this nation is still going on releasing known terrorists. Again, I can't emphasize this enough. These are known terrorists being released to the public. They are being released. I mean, and someone is saying, oh yeah, but they've been rehabilitated. How? When? I mean, how did we even get here? And Nigerians are, there is this video, where actually, let me quickly show us that, where people are being, people are complaining actually, how and why these guys are being. I think that's an AIT clip where people are saying this is definitely a very large number of these guys, and they've been released.
Nigeria's northeast is still reeling from terrorism.
Why are you guys still releasing them? Have a listen to this. This is obviously slightly long, but because of time, I will just take a quick snippet on that.
Activities. The landscape is dotted with the destruction, and the tents holding hundreds of thousands of displaced persons are a testimony to the people's suffering. They are the victims of the 11 years war. It is not just the community members, but also members of the armed forces who have had to pay the supreme price. It is in this context that the recent surrender of the terrorists and the welcome given by the Nigerian authorities is both disturbing and traumatizing, especially for those who have lost families and livelihoods. This Durumi IDP camp in the
So tell me how you would eventually convince those soldiers with one leg, those with one arms, with one leg, that eventually those that they have engaged in the battlefield are now being pardoned, are being
The
trained and being
FCT
sent abroad.
hawks
How?
persons displaced from the northeast by the Boko Haram terrorists. Recounting their experience still evokes anger and heightened emotions. This middle-aged woman, simply called Auntie, was forced to flee her village in Goza, Borno State, after Boko Haram killed and attacked her community. Goza is where the terrorists first hoisted their flag and declared a caliphate. She would not agree to talk on camera, but she tells us Boko Haram destroyed her family, and for her, going back is not an option.
Now, look at this. Just close your eye for one moment. Imagine this. You live in Oyo, you live in Benue, you live in Asaba, Delta, you live in Lagos. Suddenly, terrorists invade your community. All your belongings. Just close your eye for 1 second. Imagine you no longer have your cars. You no longer have your fridges. You no longer have your, those of you that drink cognac, your bellies, your fermented kunus, your cold drinks. You no longer have those things. You now live in the bush on tents. Why? Because those that ought to protect you, those that swore under the 1999 Constitution that ought not to be, those that swore with it to protect your life and your properties, have failed in doing that same basic contract that they have orally signed with the collective. Imagine for 1 second, that is what these people, there are times our humanity has to be at play. It doesn't matter if this IDP is in the north, in the south, in the east, in the west. These are humans. We are all human. Cut me open, cut the woman speaking open. We are all human. Therefore, anything that would threaten any of those, me, them, you, it doesn't matter, must be condemned and must be done collectively. It is heartbreaking to watch something like this and you see that these kids
Intelligence
are still
analyst
living
David Okoro says this marks of
in
injustice
IDPs.
and is worried it might create problems of integrating the surrendering terrorists.
Of course, it's going to be a threat. Again, if it's not properly handled, the safe corridor policy is a good idea, but it must be properly handled. This is why my own suggestion to put everybody that have surrendered into a holding facility, while we prepare the public, the communities for their reintegration.
So, but question then is, why are they not listening to people like this? Because put them into holding facilities, for me, get a special court, try them, try them and do the needful. Do the needful based on information you gather from them. But this man broke the table. Go and get something and before you watch this, because this man in question here broke the table. The way he basically explained what is happening must worry any of us. Again, the way he explained what is happening in Nigeria, that must worry every one of us. The video is now trending. Many are now saying, on that note, Buhari must go, because he is talking from the point of knowledge. Now listen to him. Listen to him. And that, I think that's Professor Kunle here. Listen to him. Made sense. Made perfect sense. Listen to him.
Sentiment is that there are a group of people in this sentiment.
No, shut up. Okay.
It's not about sentiment. Is that there are a group of people in this country that feels that this country should be Islamized.
Pause for a moment. He feels that there are people in this country that feels that this country should be Islamized. Of course, that's the work of the terrorists. That is the work of these Boko Haramites. Call them bandits, which they are not. They are the bunch of people killing Nigerians every single day, displacing them of their land and of their properties, and kill them on a daily
This is a fact. I said you want me to start mentioning names of people in this government that we have interrogated. I will say,
did you hear that? That we have interrogated, meaning he is part of the interrogation. It's not about, we, see, possessive pronoun. We have interrogated, not that they have interrogated. You understand the context in which he makes his statement.
Member of an interrogation team, and I've interrogated a very high-ranking member of this government in 2007, 2008 on issue of Boko Haram. I interrogated him. He's in this government right now.
So can we take a guess who he is talking about? Let's, who is he talking about? Can you, if you have any idea, make your suggestions in the comment section.
And what was the issue? Boko Haram. And this,
I don't know. I think it might be someone by name, what's it called again? That senator. He's a senator. Because, yeah.
Senior officer was actually let go because he was found culpable. But right now he's in the government. You see, we must say the truth, because if you don't, this country is going down the precipice.
It's already going down. It's already, in fact, you are talking about this country is going down. In the words of Odumeje, this country is already past pathetic. In the words of Odumeje, this country is already past pathetic.
You will be a past participant. Yeah. Hey! One day we go here. Say yesterday you are a past. So very soon you shall be past. Party. One day, say tickle. Say tickle.
Nigeria is now in tickle. Yesterday we were past. Today we are also past. Tomorrow we will be tomorrow we will be tickle. That's what this man is telling us. After all these interrogations, these things, everybody know who is involved. Yet, why sometimes I get so angry and so mad with this government is because there is something. The people were sold lies. I only blame, even the man speaking was one of those that went to America and sold Buhari to Americans. You will hear that. You will hear. And that sometimes I get mad. How is it that you people didn't see these things many of us saw? How?
We have been set back more than 60 years.
See, Nigeria has never been this divided. Nigeria has never been this divided. Everyone break the nation. Now, even those that are in government, all of them have a piece of cloth. Anyway, what am I saying? By the way, the moment this government took over, they went for medical treatment abroad. We all know what they went to treat. It appears that in which they went to treat was never cured. That's why probably they cannot hear us up to
right now. We've gone back to the time before 1966 now.
Jesus Christ. So basically Nigeria now has gone back to 1966. I wish there is anything we can do so that we go back to 1913, so that 1914 didn't happen, or we can, change the 1914 configurations. I wish, if we are in his words, in pre-1966. I wish we can go back a little bit to 1912 and 1913 so that we...
And whoever is coming back to repair this country has a lot of work to do. This country has never been polarized, so we cannot run away from it. We have never been this much polarized. I'm a federal person. My mind is federal. My brain is federal. My loyalty is federal. I do things for the federal government. So I cannot come here and try to be sentimental. No, I'm a federal person.
So will your life be at risk now that they're hearing you?
I don't care. I don't care. And my colleagues, they know me. Those people that listen to me, they know me. I don't care. The issue is that this country is bigger than an individual. That is the issue. This country is bigger than individuals.
Yes, this country is bigger than individual, but we see the harm, the individuals, very microscopic few individuals, but we see the damages they inflict on this nation every day. I have a video on my phone sent to me from Jaws. I watched it. You see lifeless human beings like you and I, over 40 of them, over 40 of human beings, just lifeless, all dead. I was told that this happened last night. Sadly, I cannot show this video. I cannot share the video because of breaking YouTube or Facebook community guidelines of sharing such horrific video. These are human beings. Now tell me, these people that died, they would all eventually die in vain because no one will be held accountable for their death. Bet me, if you want, you bet me, no one will be held accountable for their death. If not, tell me, who have we held accountable for the death of the daughter of Fosaranti? Who have we held accountable for the death of those that died in Aba? Who have we held accountable for the deaths of those that died in Benue, first week of January 2029? Who have we held accountable for crying out loud? No, I have seen the IGP. I have seen the Inspector General of Police. The Inspector General of Police is losing weight. The moment you start losing weight, that means you're doing your job very well. That is how we have reduced our indices of measuring how someone is impactful in his job.
This is a different approach in the fight against insecurity, especially kidnapping, which is a big issue now, sir.
No, I have just seen the IG. I think he is still losing weight, so I think he is working very hard.
So IG is losing weight. IG is working very hard. This man talking, Kunle Olarujua or whatever, is Air Commodore. So it's not like someone like me that you may call a novice, or like I'm good at it's throwing in analysis and giving you deeper and better understanding of issues and context. But here he is a man who speaks from point of wisdom. Hear the rest of the clip, what he has to say.
Buhari will come and go. Eliminating me or killing me will not solve the problem and will not add value. But he will come and go, and somebody must come and repair the damage to the psyche of this society, the damage to the polarization, to the nepotism that I've never seen in my life. I work with all these presidents. This is the worst situation I've found myself.
Now, he has worked with so many presidents, and this is the worst he has found himself. And now, a man who is speaking, he's not a Buhari hater. If it's someone who never liked Buhari, then you can understand. But this is a man whom, before even Tinubu came into the picture, before APC was even formed, these were people who were going to America. Well, the only thing I can say, well done. Is America no longer existing? Why don't you go back to America and tell them that market that you've sold to them that was actually, the market is fake? We have a people, the dot people, very dotted, anointed, dotted from head to toe. They are businessmen. They know fake. They know real. They know original. They know Chinese. And they know Taiwan. And when they looked at this product so many times, so many freaking times, with Umez, okay, with Chubo Kadibo, with Tunde Bakari, with Professor Iriemi Osibanjo, and they said no. However you change the packaging, this content remains not real. This is still fake. And you people bling bling bling. You were so bling blinged, and some of you behaving as if you're in a BB Niger house. And what did you do after drinking fermented kunu? You went ahead. Now you see how times in 2015, 16, 17, it appears that to say that you are Igbo is a crime. Why? Because everybody hated everybody. Yes, hated you. You are not smart. You put all your eggs in one basket. Oh, this, that. Why wouldn't I put all my egg in one basket if I know I have only one chicken? Why? So because I don't want to be smart. I mean, listen, you don't like what you hate. No matter whatever. When something is, there were two options: either to vote the other way or not to vote at all. But again, what do? Here we are. Those that brought the calamity onto us are now all crying. Commodore. Nkonko. Commodore.
And believe me, internet does not forget. I was part of the people that helped to bring Buhari to government.
Did you hear that again? Confession time. Maybe afterwards he will give us, maybe you people will decide, because this is why we are community. We'll decide how many cows and rams this man will bring, so that those in the Yoruba nation will go to Shango and start begging Shango to forgive him. And some of you in the Azar room will be going to Mumuye, and me, I will go to Ndichie, and I'll go to my ancestors to begin to ask him to forgive him, because he is now confessing. Let's hear his confession again.
Internet does not forget. I was part of the people that helped to bring Buhari to government.
He was part of the people that helped bring Buhari to government. Now you have confessed, but one thing remains that you must also,
because I believe in him.
Have you worked?
Well, you believed in him because you were let me not say
For the government after that?
After
you helped bring the government?
Oh, of course, I worked with him. We brought him in 2015, and I work as the Deputy Director of Defense Administration. And we have a lot of hope in him. And we actually are ready to do anything for him. What he has turned out over the years is shocking to us. What he has turned out over the years is shocking to us. What he has turned out over the years is shocking to us.
This is not what Mazi has turned out to. What the president has turned out after those who supported him to that level going to America, encouraging and getting the Obama administration to support. This is what they are telling us. If, as my good brother Dr. Damages would always say, if they are now those that supported with mind, everything, resources, are now feeling this way, then you and I can always go to bed.
I was in Harvard in 2014, in December, when the Department of State Services and CIA and others were contemplating about Buhari and other aspirants. I know what we did to convince the American government that the only person that can come and put this country right is Buhari. That was before the Lagos, the APC, before they chose within.
Right.
And that was how Tinubu came in. We know what we did, but what he has done in the past 6 years is shocking. It's unprecedented. And it should not be allowed to be swept under the carpet because the damage to the psyche of this country is monumental. We'll talk.
Oga, I will say to you, good morning. The damage he has done is monumental and should not be allowed to happen. It is already happened. What can you do? It is already happened. And this time around, this is just the beginning. If you had only one rope, go and buy 2 rope. Because as it is now, let me say, in 2015, when we were talking, this is your response. You and these people, this were your response to us. When we asked you, after you have voted, do you think you made the right choice? And you said the following.
All right. Have you voted?
I'm voted, yeah.
Okay, so
I'm happy I'm voted, yeah.
tell me your feeling after voting today.
Yeah, after voting, I'm feeling okay. What I want, I get it on the result. I'm getting the party I want is the one going on. Thank you for that.
What are you expecting from these people you voted?
I'm voted, they can do what you want, and then when they want, what they want, inshallah, we'll happiness more.
So now you have voted and they are doing what they want and what they want and when they want it. So if you were happiness before, now you are no longer happiness more. Now myself, as a dotted person, now I am happiness more. Why? If I ask my good brother from Kazaure, he will tell me how is. In fact, let me bring him. Kazaure, Megidani, to. If he don't look at me, what is happening for Kaduna? He don't look him. He don't penis. Waiting, you think it happening for Nigeria?
Our economic is doing like this. It's doing like this. It's blinking, shaking, blinking, shaking.
So, I don't ask my brother. He tell me say waiting because Kaduna our economy is the blink, is the shake. What can you do? What can you do? You are saying that we should not. So quickly before I round up now, it is sad that Nigerian doctors are running away. When I say running away, literally they are running away. But before I get into that quickly, let me also bring this onto you, the reactions of people. There are Nigerians that have their brains still intact, like this young man here.
But here you have terrorists, people who have seen Nigerian military to be their #1 enemies, people who have come out headlong to confront Nigerian military, killing them and other innocent people.
Sorry, I'll allow this to go without interruption. But before I do, please, if you're joining me, kindly subscribe, share this platform. Make sure you like this video, please. And I'm thanking Martin Amadi for the super chat. Martin Amadi, thank you very much for the super chat. That is much appreciated. So let's go on.
They will just go and say they have surrendered, and then the next thing, Nigeria will still spend the taxpayers' money instead of prosecuting them according to the act of terrorism and probably hang them to death. Take them off the face of this country because they are terrorizing the people of Nigeria. Nigerian government will go aside the huge sum of money it is spending on security because of this Boko Haram, will go and again spend more money rehabilitating them, and the worst of it, engage them into Nigerian military. If you are not seeing the danger I'm seeing, if our leaders, docile leaders I call them, from ethnic nationality, are not seeing the danger that will befall us in near future, I am putting it to them. Some of us have sacrificed our life to say and put on the table nothing but the truth and to help the near future. I see myself as the leader in near future, and I will not be leading a country that will be in total chaos. America, as powerful as they are, I've never heard when they will arrest ISIS and then think they will now re-engage ISIS into American military. It's not done. America.
So, I mean, that tells you there is no need playing the whole video. But one thing that is very clear is that anyone with gray matters in between their skulls sees the danger. One thing that beats me silly, when I say this, I mean it, real silly, is when people do not or rather pretend not to understand that this is going to hurt us in the long run. We see how Afghanistan army, an army of 300,000 men, was able to crumble. Why? Because America also made some mistake of even reintegrating those that they think that they've rehabilitated into the army. So eventually the other person at the other side is seen as a colleague. When push came to shove, they laid down their arms, and what did they do? They bailed it. And here we are as a nation walking in that rope, walking along that line. Now, again, I haven't said that. That's on Buhari and his problem. Let's move on to the next, quickly to the next, news here, where you see doctors from your own countries, doctors from Nigeria running away. Nigeria has very, very poor health system. You have a president that is sick, that ought to have built more hospitals. Rather, under him, all you can see is that these men they will not be even, they will shame, no, they even catch them. No longer ashamed. They will show us picture. Buhari visits Tinubu in London hospital. Tinubu will stand with walking stick, whether he has a knee cap surgery or whatever, and Buhari will come. And I'm like, what in the hell are these two ancestors doing here? These are men. Well, bottom line is it don't hot, as somebody wrote here, pepper. The kitchen is now hot. That Nigerian doctors are running away. Of all places, they are going to Saudi Arabia. Imagine the number of people you will see on the video that will play going to Saudi Arabia. Which number are you now seeing going to America, United Kingdom, and Canada? What?
These are familiar scenes at job recruitment exercises in Nigeria. There is a special difference in this particular instance, though, as these are qualified medical doctors applying for jobs overseas, in Saudi Arabia to be precise. What you can see behind me right now is the process of the recruitment of Nigerian doctors by the Saudi Arabian authorities. This exercise is currently ongoing at the Sheraton Hotel and Towers, right here in the Nigerian capital, Abuja. Nigerian resident doctors have been on strike for almost a month in their demand for better working conditions, and negotiations with the government have failed repeatedly. And the prospect of working for the Saudi government is now seen as a big escape.
The federal government is showing the cold shoulder attitude, doesn't show any kind of responsibility or being careful about the situation. I can't imagine, I can't believe my Honorable Minister of Health came out and he threatened us. So I think it does not make sense, or doesn't make much. I mean, it wasn't the situation. To be candid, we're very, very disappointed. I personally am disappointed. When I go to where I work in a very critical care services of the hospital. But basic things that we need, we don't have. Some things I used to put in my money to buy what I need, just for the sake of the patient. And to worsen the situation and to make the matter worse, and day by day, there is no any progress.
Society. A lot of discouraging things. You see banditry, see kidnapping, incessant strike, and those. And if you can get a place where you can walk, a place that is calm, a place where you can use your skill and you can be well enumerated, is it not better?
For Vivian Okolo here, it is more of a situation of heartbreak as she expresses frustration over the ever-worsening situation in the healthcare system, with this particular case in point.
I left medical school April 2011. My teacher is here. My own teacher, the first person I cited here, was my teacher, a seasoned pediatric consultant. You know what it means? My teacher that taught me how many years ago, I'm giving up on the country, on our leaders, and I come here to meet my teacher. I mean, this is the worst. I never knew it has gone this bad.
The brain drain by Nigerian doctors to the proverbial greener pastures has for long been a known fact, but having a foreign government conduct massive recruitment of Nigerian doctors in Nigeria is taking the issue to a whole new level, and there is no telling the likely far-reaching effects of this down.
You know, maybe by the time you're coming in, you're kind of thinking, oh, is it actually a good decision? But you see the inspiration, someone you looked up to, this man was a moving encyclopedia. You see him applying to run away. Would you ever, after seeing him, also go, kind of think, no, I needed not to do that? And the other man referred to when a minister made the comments he made. Now look at Minister of Labor, Dr. Chris Ngige, who is a medical doctor. One of the things he said on Channels TV, though the interview is not
under the Ministry of Health,
like something that happened this month, but it's still relevant because this interview, yes, it has timestamp, but this interview is relevant to understand the mindset and the thinking of those in governance. Rather than fix the system, every one of them thinks same.
But this is also under the Ministry of Labor. And for someone who is in the medical field, aren't you concerned that, we could be facing a crisis of, a shortage of hands in the medical field as we progress?
No, I'm not concerned at all. I'm not worried.
You're not?
We have surplus.
Look at it. Look at a thinking. Sorry, but I feel like throwing up that someone at his level will make such careless statement that Nigeria, that has not enough. We do not have enough. We don't even have half. Yes, we are churning out, but we don't even have enough. And here he sit down saying, oh yes, we have surplus. Surplus on what? On healthcare.
Surplus you export.
Oh Jesus.
Yes. It happened at one time. Indian teachers. I was taught biology and chemistry by Indian teachers in my secondary school days. They have surplus in their country. We have surplus in the medical profession here. I can tell you. It's my area. We have.
This is where we're complaining that we don't have enough doctors to man
Who said?
Rural areas. There is not enough medical professionals. You say we have surplus?
We have enough. We have more than enough.
Sorry.
So there is nothing wrong with all of these people coming to...
No, nothing wrong.
To come and...
They go out, they sharpen their skills, they earn money and send them back home here.
You see, slaves, they earn money. That's what you are referring to, the diasporans. Basically, the diaspora is, that's why none of you can work to give them the right to vote. They are the cows that breeds whatever you guys are really, you guys are really something else. Honestly, you guys are really something else. The diasporas are there, and what else can you do? Apparently, nothing. Let them go and get more money for you. Give them the rights to vote. No. Treat them well. Whose side? You have surplus. I think that word surplus kind of haunts, that you think someone that ought to know better says that we have surplus, where we do not even have 1/3 of what we need to. It's just like today, somebody saying, oh, we are exporting electricity because Nigeria, we have surplus. That's exactly what it is. Does that make any sense? You have surplus. Oh, yes, because we exploit, we have surplus. That's just basic, crass. Let me not finish it. Unbelievable.
Yes, we have earnings from them. We have foreign exchange earnings, not from oil. The Indians were doing it. Ceylonese, they taught me. Pakistanis, they taught me.
Are you abreast of what is currently happening in the medical sector?
How?
Honorable Minister.
No,
I'm trying to see if I can get that article now. This was written a couple of weeks ago by...
Good of now, see? Yeah, leave that alone. Yeah, leave that alone. See, that is the attitude that gets nothing done. Someone is trying to bring in a research work published. Nah, leave that alone.
A columnist.
Those guys go there, they are trained, they are better trained because of the facility.
Oga, who will come back after better trained? Who will come back? One of my friends normally says, come on, the mouth that have been chopping, instead of that mouth to stop chopping, let the one that haven't tasted anything go on hunger strike. No one would ever test 24 hours electricity. No one would test running water. You open your tap, you drink the water. You don't need to go and buy anything. No one would taste parking your car, knowing that you have insurance. Somebody comes on your driveway, nicks your car, and you still get that back. No one would test all these things and you think it easy. Why is it that you see people staying abroad 5, 10, 15, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years? The other day, I saw from my good brother, Osta Chidoka, the interview he had with Sylvester Ugo. Many of you don't know Sylvester Ugo. The guy, the former Biafran central bank governor. But again, in all he has done, yet in his old age, 19 freaking years, Sylvester Ugo is stuck in America. Why? Because let me tell you, people, if you get to 60, 65, you have not returned to Nigeria, you're not coming back. That is the hard truth. Sorry. Because you find out when you're younger, you can stay in Nigeria. But the moment you're older, even those of you that have American passport, British passport, watching me now, listen, you come to your old age, you will go back to America. You will go back to UK. You go back to Canada. You know why? As long as we do not fix this healthcare system, do you know sometimes it scares me that I will be sleeping sometimes around 1 o'clock. I will, I kind of get goosebumps. I ask myself, if I have medical emergency here, that means I'm dead. And that applies to any of us. Your mom, you are watching me from the diaspora, but your mom might be in the village. If your mom has any medical emergency anytime from 7 o'clock till the next day, 7 o'clock, the chances that she will die is over 50%. And that's a sad reality. And it hurts me. It should worry any of us when I see men that ought to understand saying, oh, we have enough. That is this. I mean, just like that. And you see doctors running away from their own country. People, I need to join another meeting. But before I do, you see, it is not only about talking about the federal government. In my neck of wood, Abia State, to be precise, has been a pain to the great Igbo nation. When I say a pain, Abia State has been a disappointment because when it comes to governance, I think they somewhat have been blessed with misfortune. All their governors. The other one, all the governors in Abia, the other one is being dragged around. Thief. The other one, he was arrested last week with his son. Because of what? Because of what they stole. Compare that to some states, at least for my state of Anambra. We're not saying that they are sent, but at least we do not have any ex-governor that you can say EFCC is going after them. They say they stole this, they stole the other one. But here, Abia State, and if you think what I'm saying is this, you see, there is a correlation between when you stole money meant for building up a state and the decadence you will see in that state. I feel so ashamed as a proud Igbo person to note that I have something and somewhere like this in the great Igbo nation. And the reason why I'm showing this is it's not only about hitting the federal government. Yes, federal government has its own blame, but here, what you're going to see is 100% the problem of Aba, and Aba must be fixed by these leaders because there is money. Aba is an oil producing state, for Christ's sake. Aba gets 13% reservation. Aba gets, since Buhari inception, Buhari has never for 1 second withheld the subvention, whatever is due to Abia State. Be it the 13%, be it anything. But yet, Aba has become a human capital failure. And that must get everyone of us.
Look at what we are seeing here.
Look at Aba as of
A line.
today, for Christ's sake.
No, can't pass it. Shop every year they will pay for their shop. How many years? How many months? How many months? 1 year. How months? Millionaires. Okay, remember that I see that they will say because every year is dead.
You know, with them laws are now. And you are now a poor bala, Tabula one and Hola, Hepasara, also, Arizona. The comment did one on to one Arizona and other places. If you're first road, or maybe Shella, I said, if you even there and people is running. When you know, even some people who had to talk, some last week or maybe Charlie shop bound to also meaning a richer shop with them money.
And look at this. Look at this. I mean, are the people of Aba, are they like pigs? Because, sorry, honestly, I look at this, I don't know what to say. This is a freaking PDP state. When I tell you that PDP is no less evil than APC, they are a bunch of looters. Look at Aba. And someone, they say our son is the governor. 6 years, getting to 7 years, when he reigns, Aba still lies. Shame on those that have governed and are still governing Aba. Shame. If there is any iota of shame, if there is anything left, just hands off and go, because you have been a failure to humanity. I am angry. I am angry that in my neck of wood, Aba, this is the pride and where we used to refer to as the Japan of Africa, where things are made. This is how our Aba has been reduced to. This is what Aba has been reduced to. Shame, past, present leaders from Abia State. Shame on you. Shame.
Comment about also the Makalima area. Even area one a place against an equipe, I got money, Germany to area.
No, the my had Mirizu, I got who was I got for some wire. Mirizu, I know everywhere they see. That's the Paneco pride. I'm my again, and I say, Toto, who won't cut me, who will take on car.
Feel when I'm Landa, Musoli Lion Sofra, Tunya Chara Hamero, or to by this time. Lahako Panemetu Anyua, Nata, Tonya have got to run it. Lahaka Metu one I lie 1 month.
Even if you did not vote for them, for Christ's sake. Now tell me how someone would watch this, what we see in Aba. You still, if you're from Abia State, and you still have the infantry to criticize the federal government, whereas if we have 100 naira, federal government takes 52, your state takes 48, state and local government. Yet, federal government is barely, mathematically speaking, only 2% takes more than state and local government. Yet, This is what you get. If you see videos from Benue, that's what, when I said what I said yesterday, and I mean it, that Governor Autumn should actually stop talking to the federal government when he was crying, oh, the federal government, Buhari banned him from seeing. I say, who, so what? You're a president of a federal republic of Benue. That's what you are. You are the CEO of Benue PLC. That's what you are. You are the managing director of Benue. If another company says you cannot come in, damn the country and fix your own place. And that's what I meant. Why cry? Fix it. Look at Abba there. Let me tell you, give me 100 million. That thing you see there will be done. Engage direct labor. What are you talking, for Christ's sake? This thing is not skyrocket science. It's not skyrocket science. 100 million will fix that thing. Get people direct labor. Mobilize the people. There are people who are jobless. No, they won't. They want it to spoil more so that they can eventually go and put big billions. How much being used in doing this, in doing the other one. I mean, come on, people. Come on. Abba, you're ashamed. They shame me, Abba. Look at the former governor of Abia State. Look at it. EFCC is after him. This is it. Now, this is allegedly, please, Theodore and your men and your whatever, DSS, this is allegedly. Now, that they diverted this money, 55 billion, ASOP ADEC fund, 2 billion, agriculture fund, 12 billion, Paris Club fund, bank loan, 10 billion, exchange, 1.8 billion, whatever, Shopee, 2.3 billion, SS crude revenue, 55 billion. So when you look at all these things, you tell me, if indeed these monies were commingled, this is Guardian, source is Guardian News, this is done, this chart, these statistics in use here, reference is Guardian. On these things, if indeed, let's assume for argument's sake, without considering, let's just argue, because these things are general fund, though, not that the whole money was missing, though. It's just that this is the fund, but probably was not explained in details how that money was used. Now, let's assume that only 10% of this was removed, or 20%. Do you think you still get the same result? What is it on earth? Why is it on earth that, how long am I going to live? That I cannot, if I ever have the opportunity to govern a place, that you cannot make it so nice that you will spend your last days there. Is it that our leaders don't know that whatever you do, by the time you turn 75, you become so vulnerable? Only thing that can sustain you is that which you have laid down in your place. Someone in this evening conversation said something that touched me, and I'll read it very quickly. It says that my mom, that's his Chisom here. Chisom, pardon, but I'll bring your comment on the screen. And Chisom said, because when I said that, she said, my mom died because of exactly what you said. And honestly, I don't need to be a soothsayer to know about these things. 2 years ago, on Easter Sunday, on Easter Sunday, in my own village, I rushed a woman to Newi because she was unconscious. And that incident broke me. It broke me reason why it broke me, because while rushing this woman unconscious, the first place I stopped was the what we call the Ajam General Hospital, isn't it? A place where I have given them ultrasound, a place where I've given medical equipment, wheelchairs, and all the rest. And on Easter Sunday, around 7:30, I opened the doors of this general hospital. I felt like just killing myself. Everything so dusty, just nothing. No single human being was there. Not single on Easter Sunday. Easter Sunday, not a single human being. Yet we came because of emergency. And woman had to be taken. Imagine a trip of between 35 to 40 minutes to get to Nnewi. Wouldn't that person have died? Now, this is in the morning. Imagine you are that old. You encounter this. Sorry, RIP is the easiest thing. Why is it that many of us now watching this, your mom had gone to America and Europe, eventually he stabilizes, he has their own paper. You think they're going to go back? Yes, they might go back in their 60, in the early 70s. The moment your mom or your dad turns 75, 80, if it's men, they tell you, oh, incontinent, oh, what's it called? PSA level, the prostrate, blah, blah, blah. Which I mean, many people I know, living witness, go to Nigeria. They say they will cut you, blah, blah, because they all want money. They come here. The doctors look at it, no, so you're lucky they didn't open you up because you would have died. Your PSL level is not at the level where it should be cut open, give you medication, do blah, 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 blah. The person gets well again. Now tell me, knowing that you are in good hands where you do not pay medical this, and this is when whichever money you make, when you will need real money is when you get old, because at that point, you're no longer active, you no longer have things giving you revenue. So unless you plan your life differently, that even at your 80, 70, 90, that you still have income generating ventures. But if not, your outgoing becomes stagnant and your expenditure keep ballooning. At the end of the day, that person is there. But here is a people who have on our screen. This is an allegation of what they've stolen. This is one. We haven't gotten to the one before him. Remember, before this man left, he was talking about, oh, yes, we are going to have Abia Airport within how many months? 9 years later, no one is talking about Abia Airport, Abia Airport, Abi whatever airport. No. Whenever they want to do Brakatabra, they know how to do it. People, Abba, for me, breaks my heart, to say the least. Thank you, everyone, for joining me, please. Do not go away. Do not tune away from Njenje Media TV. There is another program going on concurrently now. I am actually joining that program, and that is very simple. There is this program we've been running on Njenje Media TV and Lumba that is about the political realignment and engagement between the South and the Middle Belt. We think time has come where it's no longer about talking. We need now to start taking actions. And we are beginning to see how alliances with the Middle Belt will be built. Like I keep telling us, if push comes to shove, we must think of something to be our fallback. Thank you very much. Honestly, thank you. I appreciate every one of you. If you haven't, please kindly like this stream, subscribe to this channel. I would appreciate if you do that. Share this video. Share this video. This is the simple gospel. We can not only keep hammering on the federal government without touching ourselves. That will be akin to lying to ourselves. And I'm not going to be a party to that. On that note, I will say thank you once more for being part of this program. I am still Mazi Ezoke. Indeed, I am proudly the dotted one. Peace out.